The home appraisal report is changing, and it's going to be official in November of this year, 2026. Most buyers, sellers, and their agents have no idea this is happening. But if you're buying or selling a home, this could matter during escrow. The change is called UAD 3.6. UAD stands for Uniform Appraisal Data Set. It's the standardized appraisal data used for residential mortgage appraisals delivered to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. The new format replaces the old format. The old format was just kind of less dynamic, lots of check marks. This is going to be a lot more data driven. The goal is to make the appraisal more consistent, easier for lenders to review, and more complete. So, yes, the appraisal report is changing. The value is still determined the same way. So, appraisers are still looking at the home, comparable sales, adjustments, market conditions, the condition of the property, and quality and supportable value. The big change is how information is collected, organized, and delivered. So the report will be more data driven, more property details will be captured in the structured fields. So that means less information buried in comments and addenda. That was happening a lot in our previous appraisals, and it made it hard for some people to get the information out of the addenda and then lots of verbiage at the end of an appraisal. So it also means that lenders may be able to review the appraisal more closely. Sellers need better documentation no matter what. So the sellers, if you're preparing your home right now for sale, it's really, really important that you should be ready to provide information about any upgrades that you're doing, any repairs that you're doing. Make sure that you keep copies of permits. And either you or your realtor, you need to do your due diligence before you hit the market. That due diligence is going to be if you're here in San Luis Obispo County or Santa Barbara County, go to the appropriate county, go to the planning department and get the information about the property. Because in the appraisal, you want to provide county provided proof about the square footage of the property, about accessory dwelling units, additions, the age of the roof, major systems and condition improvements. So if you can have that in writing, it's just going to help your appraisal. You need a good listing agent that is aware of this and is willing to help you out. Your listing agent should not just open the door for the appraiser and say good luck. A good listing agent is going to provide comparable sales, a list of improvements, neighborhood context, permit information if available, and anything unusual about the property, which happens a lot around here on the Central Coast. Because there are a lot of different factors that can affect the value of appraisers. A low appraisal may not just be about the final number. It may come from how the property was documented and compared to other sales. So that's really important. As a seller, prepare as much information as possible and have your agent provide that to the appraiser, because then hopefully that's going to help increase the value of the property. Now, the opposite of that is going to be, let's say, a home that has been recently rehabbed. Then the person that was doing the rehab passes away and the property ends up in a trust or in someone's name that doesn't have any idea of what has happened at the property. Well, that's going to be a good situation for buyers because that property may appraise low on this new appraisal situation because we don't know what we're looking at. We don't know how much the materials cost, who did the work. We don't know if anything was permitted. So this can work either way. Right now, we're going to be more focused on the sellers. Now, as far as those unique properties that need to be explained. So again, the Central Coast, if you're close to the beach, that matters. Ocean views, if you're up on the hills, an ocean view is going to bring more money than the house next door that doesn't have an ocean view. We have a lot of older homes here, but then we have a lot of remodeled older homes as well. Those ADUs, manufactured homes, condos, unusual lots. Sometimes there's a lot of properties here that have unpermitted work, and that can all affect the appraisal review. So as far as the condition of the property may be more visible. If the home has deferred maintenance, outdated systems, poor repairs, or unclear improvements, those issues may be easier for the lender to see as well as the appraiser. It doesn't mean that the home cannot appraise, but it does mean that the details matter. So when the appraiser walks up or when any of us walk up to a home, we can see if there's deferred maintenance. If the trim around the house hasn't been painted, it's been out in the sun, it's going to deteriorate and fall apart and be quite obvious to anyone that's looking at the property. So Good record keeping is going to help support the value of your home. So keep your receipts, keep those permits, contractor invoices, upgrade lists, have them all ready for your realtor just to hand over to the appraiser. Like if you painted the house, but you didn't save the receipt for the paint, well, let us know. We painted the house in January of 2025. You can see the tan paint on the walls or what have you. Say the paint was purchased at Home Depot and it's a high quality blah blah paint. Details, details, details are going to help in this new appraisal situation. So now on the other side of the coin, like we talked about for the buyers, bad information can really hurt. So if the MLS data is wrong, if the square footage is unclear, we see a lot of realtors that are listing properties and saying, we're not sure about the square footage. You go and do the due diligence. That's that may hurt the listing. So if you're selling your house, make sure you have a realtor that's willing to go and do the due diligence and find out the actual real information that is available through the county planning departments. So basically, for a consumer takeaway, the appraisal process, again, is becoming more detailed and more data driven. You can take advantage of this because preparation matters. Sellers, again, document the home before going on the market. Start documenting now if you're going on the market at the end of the summertime. You cannot start this process too soon. Buyers, you need to understand that the appraisal may be more detailed and it may take a little bit more time. So work with your lenders and be prepared. This is going to be a longer process than what we're currently dealing with and what we have been dealing with for appraisers in the past. And agents should be ready to support that contract price with real information. So your realtor does have access to comparable market analysis and to other information that is available through our MLS and other systems. So we can give you good data to provide to the appraisers. The bottom line is simple. The appraisal report is changing. Better documentation matters. Accurate property information matters. Good comparable sales matter. And most importantly, have an agent who understands the contract to closing process really matters. If you're buying or selling on the Central Coast, prepare early. The goal is not to get into escrow. The goal is to get through escrow and to close. If you need help, you have questions, call, text, or email me anytime. I'm Bruce Carson, Realtor with Our Real Estate in the Village of Arroyo Grande.